We're so happy that you're here today. My name is Anna Miller, and I am the Wellbeing Program Manager with the Healthier Together team. And I've got the rest of my awesome team here with me today to go over some tips and tricks to thrive through the holidays. As we approach the holiday season, much of the world joins you in hectic preparations for the end of one year and the start of another, and the many festivities that come in these final 2 months of the year. The typical theme of this time of year is often centered around gratitude, togetherness, peace, love, new beginnings, but the feeling that often comes around this time of year are stress, oftentimes feelings of loneliness or perhaps grief. So how are we supposed to feel the love and the good health of the season? It can be difficult to attend to our own sense of peace amidst the overindulging, overextending, maybe gift buying, and sometimes just being spread too thin. So as we progress through today's webinar, I challenge you to find one thing that you will implement this holiday season. We'll provide some insight into the topics of exercise, mental well-being, and nutrition. So try to find one technique that you can apply to improve your health, wellness, and so you can go from barely surviving to truly thriving through the holidays. A few things before we get into today's content. This webinar is recorded, and we will make sure that we email the slide deck and recording options to all of the attendees. So I'll send that out probably tomorrow sometime. You'll get the slide deck in your email. And if you don't see that, feel free to send me a message and I can get that sent over to you. If you have any questions today, please throw those in the chat, and the rest of the team will be monitoring throughout as we go through the webinar. And if we can't get to your question today, we will definitely get back to you afterwards. A few quick reminders about Healthier Together. If you have not done so already, please register for Healthier Together. It is a free offering, a free wellness program platform just for you guys. So you can download the app. You can access it on your desktop as well. So you can register at healthiertogether.medtronic.com. And as you engage with the platform, you can earn Healthier Together reward points. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that these Healthier Together reward points, as you progress throughout, as you hit certain levels, you can earn recognized points. So that's kind of what's in it for you. You not only get to improve your own personal well-being, but you can maybe earn some recognized points in the future. So definitely check it out. The steps to register are on the screen here. So before we dive in, we have a chat question. So please utilize the chat feature to answer the following question. What do you struggle with the most during the holiday season? So what's something that challenges you the most during the holiday season? I know for me, the last few years, I've battled with grief after losing a few loved ones. So many holiday traditions are centered around family sometimes. So I'm looking forward to hearing about the mental well-being section. So share in the chat what challenges you the most during this time. I'm just going to read off a few awesome responses coming in. Too many commitments, overeating, portion control, holiday baked goods, time management, house guests, dividing time between families, enjoying fun outings instead of shopping for gifts. Yes, conversations. Wow, so many messages. Thank you for sharing. So feel free to keep throwing your answers into the chat. And as you listen to the content coming up, try to think about how what you're learning today you can apply to possibly improve your situation and help with the areas that challenges you the most. So I'll now turn it over to Isaac.
Thank you, Anna, and it's great to be here with all of you. So today I'm going to be going over exercising and staying active through the holidays. It's an important time to still keep that activity level, that exercise routine up, because it's going to help keep your energy levels up and overall healthier while you might be hosting, visiting, traveling, all those holiday things that come up every year. So I'm going to touch on some tips and strategies to help you and your family keep moving. first one here, we have plan ahead. So whether you're hosting or traveling and going to be visiting family, it's always good if you're trying to stay on a consistent workout routine to mark down a time. And it's something I personally do of I'm going to work out this day and or go on a walk this day to help me stay on a more consistent current routine. You want it as close to your current routine as possible because your body is already in an irregular situation. So it just can help add some regularity to any of the external physical stressors that might be happening at the time. It's just going to overall help you stay on your routine, keep your energy levels up, and gives you the same consistency that you're used to. Planning this is it really, as far as personally for me, I can look forward to it because it's a time where I can just be alone and, maybe relieve some of that holiday stress with being in the same quarters as extended family for an extended period of time. Big thing here though is letting your family or partner know, like having that communication line open to where everyone, or at least your partner, knows, okay, this is my time where I'm going to go off and do some yoga, do a run, something like that. So and it maybe your partner is planning to do something at the same time, so that's why it's also important to keep that connection, that communication line open. And maybe you don't really want your partner, you're going off to go on your run and you're like, they might be like, wait, you're going to leave me at home with your in-laws? Like, when were you planning on doing this? So just making sure you keep that communication open at all times. If you're having an issue with limited time, or you really can't leave the location you're at too much, be sure to tune into our Healthier Together YouTube channel and go over. You can do fit breaks, flex breaks, or do an exercise class if you want to. Just another strategy to help that have that information, have that ability right then and there if you need that, rather than going to another location in order to do your exercise or workout routine. The next one is group activities. So, and there is a link on that previous slide that once you get access to the slideshow, all the links on here you'll be able to access. So group activities, this is a big one for our family, especially the family walk aspect to this. After our meal, particularly in Thanksgiving, after our meal, our whole extended family looks forward to a big walk afterwards. I'm not really sure how this started. I think it was just a little bit of cabin fever, wanting to get outside, and regardless of the weather, it's something that we always look forward to. Great conversation. It gets us up and moving and keeping our energy levels high, rather than sitting in front of a TV or what have you. A family game, organizing and planning out maybe like a family game. I put the bowl game. There's a link to that for the rules that are closest to the family, or the rules that we play as a family. It's just a fun charades game to help you get up off the couch. All you need is a bowl and a piece of paper, and we've had some of the best family times playing that particular game because everyone loves to participate. You can also do like an outdoor kickball, football game. We used to do a football, soccer-ish game with some of the smaller kids, and that was something that everyone looked forward to as well. Family Olympics. I was just talking to a friend last night, actually, and she said that their family does an entire Olympic competition. So if your family is very competitive, maybe they can get into something like that. Snowman building is another fun activity to help you get you up and outside. I'm not sure what the correct terminology is for the game bags or cornhole, where you have two bean bags and you try to throw it to the other side through the hole. I'm not sure, but I have heard of families doing that as just like a way to get out in, outside in the snow even, or just in like your garage. Family walk, 5K walk or run, billiards, table tennis, whatever. If you have something like that at your in-laws house, your family's house, parents' house, something that just keeps the tendency to want to sit on the couch all day and just get active. And then maybe plan a family trip to your local YMCA rec wellness center. That's going to have plenty of opportunities for like a pool, a gym, and other things like that. Another idea was everyone gets to decorate whatever holiday you're celebrating, whatever tradition you celebrate. You could get up and everyone could do a group decorating the house type of activity, or some sort of craft. That's something that my spouse has implemented the past 3 years. Is she brings all of her craft stuff and makes a craft, and then we all make a craft with her, and that's been a really fun time as well. And then also, shameless plug, tune into the YouTube Healthier Together channel for maybe your family wants to do a fit break together, a 10-minute low impact workout, or a guided meditation. You could, or a guided stretch break for our flex breaks as well. And then something that we created was a 5-minute fitness handbook. So just a quick way to start, just to be active really quick, is just to take 5 minutes, pick an activity, pick a stretch, pick an exercise, whatever, set the timer and just do it for 5 minutes. Overall, this is a great strategy for forming habits. And often that 5 minutes leads to 7 minutes, 10 minutes. It just naturally extends itself. So we provided a link to a PDF for the Fit in 5 handbook. And as you can see on the slide here, there's a sample of what that kind of looks like. And so for instance, this one right here is the challenge number 1 is jumping jacks. So we also provide the format of how maybe you want to go about doing that 5 minutes of jumping jacks. Continue. And another thing that other tips that were worth noting when it comes to the holidays, the idea of earning your meal is something that may not be the most balanced type of decision to try and do, and there's a large tendency in the holidays to do something like that. The main reason why, one of the main reasons why that isn't the greatest thing to do during the holiday is you're putting your body through a big physical, extra hard workout. So it needs that extra time to recover, and then eating a bunch of food when it needs to digest all that food, you're putting your body in an unbalanced state, which is going to lead to a lot of fatigue and drowsiness. Hey, Uncle Dave, haven't seen you in 2 years. Let me eat a bunch of food and sleep on the couch. That isn't something to help keep that energy up. So try to avoid that by all means. And another thing worth noting is everything adds up. All the activities you do throughout the holiday season, decorating, gift wrapping, shoveling, shopping, cleaning, traveling, all that stuff add up. So maybe give yourself a little bit of rest time, a little stretch break, a little meditation, rather than thinking, oh, I got to work out still. Your body's already in a very irregular state. You might as well give it a little bit of a break. So we will turn it over now to Kyle.
Awesome. Thanks, Isaac. And yes, as he's saying, and as part of your well-being as well, is that aspect of exercise or simply physical activity. It does add up. So as I get into the mental well-being aspect, I do want to mention this topic could be a whole webinar in itself. Lots of different facets, lots of different directions when it comes to that mental well-being, whether it's loss of loved ones, stress, any other type of mental well-being issues. But what I want to speak to on this side of kind of thriving through the holidays is the mental well-being in relation to stress and stress management, as well as share with you 3 tips that might help you de-stress by changing your perspective. So first, we'll briefly kind of identify stress. Now, stress is a normal part of life and the primary hormone that drives your stress response, and that's cortisol. It is your body's way of reacting to a challenge or a demand. Identifying your stress, whether it's acute or chronic, is an essential first step to managing your stress, not only during the holidays, but also during your regular everyday life. Short-term stress usually goes away pretty quickly, like the stress maybe brought on from slamming on your brakes in the car while traveling somewhere. It is the chronic stress, though, that can lead to health problems. Now is the time to really reflect on your stress because sometimes we live at a baseline of high stress. With that high baseline, we don't recognize that the stress is causing some of our physical and emotional symptoms we experience, whether it's day to day, week to week, or month to month. So some of those physical and emotional symptoms could be things like forgetfulness, lack of energy and focus, tiredness, or even unwanted weight loss or weight gain as you turn to more food, especially during the holidays. There's so much food available. Reducing and managing your stress takes some practice and even maybe some additional support from a professional. So as we are heading into the holiday season, move yourself or your self-care to the top of the priority list. Make it number 1. So as you are thinking about your stress, pressures, what stresses you, I want to share 3 mindfulness tips. This is something that I try to practice on a regular basis, and I really attribute this kind of learned approach from my wife. She is incredible at looking at things in a different perspective, and that can really do wonders for the mind and the body. So first, and this is actually one of my biggest faults, and it creates a lot of stress for me. But with some practice and a mindset shift, I've been able to calm it down quite a bit. Sometimes our minds get so focused on how things need to be perfect or presented perfectly for family and friends. But do most family and friends really notice something being out of place or something being incorrect? Ask yourself, can good be good enough? Now, I recognize that there are some people who do point out flaws or things that aren't perfectly in their spots, let's say. But in my experiences, most people don't notice the imperfections. They are enjoying the moment, the quality time with you, and they're grateful for your efforts in making the event or the experience happen. You are your own worst enemy when it comes to this. So, I'm sorry, you are going to see things differently. Remember that you're going to see things differently than maybe your sister, your brother, your aunts and uncles. So accept imperfection and know that good really is good enough. Now, tip number 2 is don't lose sight of what really counts. Taking a moment to ask yourself one or maybe all of these questions, or maybe just simply looking at something in a different light can change your mindset in a stressful situation. Take the example, you need a last minute item from the grocery store and the checkout line is slow and very long, a lot of people. Ask yourself, where does this fit into the grand scheme of things? In this example, remind yourself, it is nothing more than a grocery line. Don't let it spoil your holiday event with your family. This slow, long line can be also a great opportunity for reflection. As you are standing in line, go through your day or maybe your previous week. What good things happened that you can reflect on and find joy in during a frustrating situation? What are you grateful for? And last, is how can you find a way to make a stressful situation a pleasant situation? I like to look around and notice the little things in life. Maybe the checkout clerk having a conversation with the person checking out, and they're talking about a specific food item that they've always wanted to try that's really delicious. Maybe you see two people shaking hands or hugging. They could be old friends who happen to run into each other at the grocery store. Or maybe you see a stranger helping an older couple walk their shopping cart back to the cart corral. These questions and others that get you thinking in a positive light is a great response for you. And it's a great way to look at things in a new perspective to maybe help change your perception. And finally, remember you can't change how others act during the stresses of the holiday season, but you can change how you respond to situations. Choosing to respond with kindness can help settle stress. Whenever you encounter a difficult person, remind yourself, this person might be stressed themselves or having a challenging day for their own reasons. And that's why they might be acting the way that they are. Having kind of that mindset softens the frustrations, and it can really help you be more compassionate. And it's a simple reminder that it's never personal. Keep in mind that the holidays are especially difficult for those who are alone. See if you can extend an act of kindness to those you know who are without family or friends during this time of year. And if things do get tense with someone, maybe a family member at a family event, take a few deep breaths. Those few breaths can shift things and give you a new perspective or help you think and react rationally. So those 3 tips are really great practices for you to start doing maybe immediately. There are other ways and needs to consider to help manage stress and be more mindful this holiday season. A lot of the holiday season can be focused on giving your time and energy to friends, family, loved ones, which is rewarding and satisfying, but it can also bring a lot of unwanted stress in trying to balance and satisfy everyone else's needs and wants. The biggest tip I want to highlight out of these bullet points, and it encompasses a lot of the other tips on the slide as well, is the one that I highlighted. Set aside time for yourself and prioritize self-care. It might be in your nature to give, but don't forget to give back to yourself. Exercise, well-balanced nutritional meals, getting enough sleep, or if you're in a northern location like us in Minnesota, sunlight, that vitamin D can help just boost yourself, that positiveness inside you. Make your mental well-being a priority this holiday season and help yourself manage stress levels, stressful situations, and enjoy the holidays to the fullest. Healthier Together does have some great resources to aid in your plan this holiday season. Maybe short mindfulness programs with Rethink Care, or formerly known as WILL. Even stress-related journeys, where each day you are practicing and building good habits. Or Isaac mentioned it before, our YouTube channel for exercise routines, meditations, even short recorded flex breaks if you choose to do more of stretching oriented type mindfulness. But then also don't forget the Medtronic Employee Assistance Program if you are looking for needing more of that professional direction and support.
All right, thank you, Kyle. I really appreciate all the resources you've handed out to people. And I really hope you all take advantage of these valuable Healthier Together programs. They're right there. It's easy to use, accessible. If you have any questions or requests, feel free to reach out to myself or anyone on the team. We're happy to help you out in any way possible. So getting on to nutrition. No holiday celebration would be complete without food or drink. And not surprisingly, research has shown the amount of food people eat goes up by as much as 48% when they eat together. So that's quite a bit, but also pretty normal. So in this segment, we will work on resetting the food talk mindset. So rather than saying or thinking, earn those cookies, like Isaac had mentioned, we're going to try to aim for a more positive and effective mindset. Communication or that self-talk that you have can really trigger your and others' guilt. So we want to try to avoid words that cause fat phobia and weight stigmas. Another thing is action. How can we make successful behavior change stick any time of the year? If you're like me, typically it's not just the holidays when I struggle with nutrition. So we want to practice that behavior change throughout the year and really make it habitual. Then there's the future. Embracing a growth mindset, not only for self-improvement, but for improving your personal relationships, which many of us are going to have the opportunity to practice over the upcoming holiday months, whether you want to or not. And we are getting on to food guilt. So 63% of Americans struggle with food guilt each and every holiday. So it is essential to ask yourself, why do you overeat? Or perhaps you're feeling guilty for eating a particular food. Your why must be really meaningful and specific to yourself. Do you feel like a failure because you lack self-control? Or is it that your relatives cause you so much stress that you deal by overeating or over drinking? So take a moment just to identify your why. Maybe you want to jot it down just to refer to throughout this presentation or to come back to later on. All right, now that you have identified your why or your cause for food guilt, we're going to get into steps for improving your relationship with nutrition. Number 1, write down your goal. So you're going to have more success if you are mindful and can visually see what you wish to accomplish. You need to go back to your why. Why do you overeat in certain situations? Is it stress, boredom, peer pressure? Just like that first statistics, we tend to eat more when we're in groups. Your goal could also be to substitute a behavior, maybe remove yourself from a situation by taking a break, or perhaps it's more specific, like cutting down on portion control. So creating a SMART, those specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely goals really increases your chance of succeeding from 43% to 76%. That's a 33% success rate increase, even with the new math, just by writing it down. That alone will increase your success rate. All right, so then on to number 3, create or break. Oh, yeah, okay, so create or break, there we go, a healthy habit by making it easy. Stanford researcher BJ Foggs calls it minimum viable effort. The first step is crucial. Keep it tiny. So start off with the bare minimum and be consistent. Do not be ambitious yet or it'll lead to failure, such as, I'm going to eliminate all sugar and only drink water. So it's not realistic for a long-term habit, or for me, I don't think I could even be a short-term daily habit for that, being that ambitious of completely eliminating things. So what is key is consistency. You want to make the hurdle as low as possible, so it'd be nearly impossible to fail. You want to make it so small that you would be embarrassed if you didn't pass that hurdle. So I will leave like 1 spoonful on my plate every meal. Maybe that's even too much. Maybe you want to just say, I'm going to start with a crumb and build up to something a bit more substantial. I'm really trying to break that clean plate club habit or mentality. You want to pick something that really only takes seconds. Now, how about if you want to get rid of a bad habit? So that's really different than creating a new habit. With bad habits, you want to replace, not kill. So awareness is key here. That entire cheese platter doesn't magically appear in your mouth. Sorry for any Wisconsinites. I know we have a lot of Minnesotans here on the call right now, but really noticing yourself acting habitually is a big first step. Do you habitually eat mindlessly when in social situations? Then you need to find your trigger. So what starts you down that road to that habit? I get stressed out and then I eat. I get bored and then I want a cocktail. So finding out that trigger, what's causing you? Is it the stress of people? Is it the group? You're just not even thinking about it. What is that trigger? And next is replacement. Replacing, what are you going to do now that that trigger arises? So establishing something new to take place of the old habit, such as eat one veggie from the veggie tray between every other appetizer you consume. So rather than completely cutting out an appetizer, just add in a carrot, then have your cheese curd. Have a broccoli, and then have a cheese curd. And you may find that you're going to get full on the veggies and more non-processed foods than you are with the more highly processed deep fried appetizers. So in turn, it's just those little baby steps and you're already setting yourself up for success. And if you can make good habits take 20 seconds less time to perform and 20 seconds longer for bad habits, you're very much more likely to see big changes in your behavior. You can really change your environment also, so you don't have to exert self-control. So throw out the donuts, hide the booze, create a new tradition like Isaac had talked about. Set boundaries. Timeouts are okay to take to refocus. Just get out, take a breath, excuse yourself, and you can always come back to the situation. Number 4, plan for setbacks. So preparing how you will respond to a setback will give you that feeling of control, which in turn causes a boost in dopamine, that feel-good hormone. So being a perfectionist is stressful and unrealistic. Just like I skipped a slide and I promise I'll go back to it. I'm not I try to be a perfectionist, but you just have to accept when you're not. And you just have to go that mindset of curiosity rather than being judgmental. So rather than beating yourself up over skipping a slide, just let it go, take in the humor and move along with it. We have all fallen into the all or nothing trap also, which only can increase your stress, guilt, and anxiety. So gaining any control, regardless of how minimal it is going to produce a positive mindset. So when you notice yourself feeling triggered, it is okay to excuse yourself for a minute and reflect and reset. If someone is triggering you, simply state, this topic makes me feel uncomfortable, or this meal is so wonderful, but I am stuffed. Now we all have those food pushing relatives that feel offended if we're not eating everything that they give us in sight or the huge portions. So just ask them to take home the leftovers. If you're worried about offending them, explain you're full, you love their food, you would love to keep eating it for the rest of the week if you could take some home. And that's up to you whether you want to save it for later or throw it out on your way home. So remember, oftentimes people are unaware they are contributing to your food guilt. So you really have to be responsible for enforcing your own boundaries. Okay, now we will go to the back. Thank you. Willpower is limited. So for behavior change to be successful, it's very important that we get back to this slide because one must acknowledge that willpower is limited. This alone is going to save you a lot of guilt, like a ton. I get that personal guilt for many things. So just knowing willpower is limited, it's not you. So just accept that and you're going to be so much better off right from there. So laboratory tests consistently show that after people exerted self-control in one task, they would do worse on a second different self-controlled task. So this laboratory test reflects that subjects had depleted some sort of energy or resource in the first test. Therefore, they didn't have as much available for the second one. So how do we conserve that limited resource of willpower? Making something habitual means you don't have to exert willpower. The more you follow a routine, plan in advance, or operate on the basis of habit, the less moment-to-moment strain there is, and the less demand for willpower. Just think about today, like brushing your teeth or putting on deodorant. Can't tell you how many times I wonder, I'm like, did I put on my deodorant? I don't even remember. I put it on and on again. And luckily, this isn't smell-o-vision, so if I didn't, you won't know. But many of you could probably also relate. There's times where you're going to work and you don't even remember driving there. Or perhaps you're going to a new store, but you just automatically start driving to work because that's the habit. You're not thinking, it's mindless. So we spend 40% of every day on autopilot, performing habits mindlessly. So if your goal is portion control, you really want to practice it at every meal so it does not feel like a huge deal when you're doing it around others for the very first time. Just get in that mindless habit. Thanks, Anna, for going back for me. Now we are getting on to number 5, our super friends. So it's to have an ally by your side. There are 22%, people are 22% more likely to be successful in their efforts if they share their goals with friends or family. So have an ally by your side, whether it's someone physically with you that's available or just available to text. Knowing you have support can be extremely helpful in a challenging situation. Just knowing you have options and have control and aren't stuck, that alone will help you. And it also really never hurts to have a sense of humor. In the beginning of my marriage, my husband and I would get very frustrated with his mother, my mother-in-law, that create a lot of tension, a lot of frustration. And then we became to get into this mindset of looking for her little bizarre behaviors and then talking about it afterwards and laughing. So it almost now becomes to the point of like, I can't wait till I see her and see what crazy things she does. So it's just changing that mindset rather than getting so frustrated. And usually, again, people are kind-hearted. They mean well. They might just irritate you from time to time. All right, and bringing it all together, lastly, we want to embrace a growth mindset. So we have 2 mindsets, the fixed and the growth. A fixed mindset is one that dreads failure and assumes the worst, while a growth mindset looks for opportunities to learn. Change really requires that growth mindset. So rebuilding a trusting relationship with your mind and your body means starting to be curious and open to challenging those old habits and start practicing new ones. Change is possible and easier with a positive mindset and consistent behaviors. Obviously, change doesn't happen overnight. You have to give yourself some grace and set yourself up with successful change first, so you can build those healthy habits that will someday become mindless for you. And I will now review the valuable resources to support you in thriving through the holidays.
Thank you, everybody. This was some awesome content. I can't wait to apply all of these as we move through the upcoming season. So a few reminders with our weekly live offerings. These offerings will continue through the rest of the year and will continue on into 2023. So if you have not added these to your calendar, once we send out the slide deck, please do so. We have guided meditations. We focus on a whole wide variety of topics. If you can't attend those live, you can always watch the recordings or the uploads we have on our YouTube channel. And Kyle leads a stretch break Monday through Thursday live. If you can't attend that, we also have another playlist on our YouTube channel. And a newer offering this year, we have our fit breaks. So if you don't have time for that full 40-minute workout, Isaac leads on Mondays and Wednesdays a short 10 to 15 minute low impact workout, more dynamic than a stretch break, but office friendly, cube friendly, maybe apartment friendly, no jumping, things like that. So definitely check out these offerings and have them on your calendar and join when you can. When you need that quick break, join in for 2-3 minutes even. You don't have to attend the whole thing. Pop in, pop out whenever you need to. And so many employees share with us how beneficial these breaks are for them, not only to break up their day, but to simply shut off work for a little bit. So then when you come back, you feel more refreshed and ready to take on the day. We will also continue our YouTube workouts into next year. Right now we have a live stream Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays on YouTube. And it's a full 30-minute workout right now. And those are also published right afterwards to the channel, so you can view our whole library. We have over 900 recorded full workouts, and it's all of us working out in our homes with our pets, maybe kids running around. So it definitely feels more relatable rather than a fancy studio. So we can work out together with you. So thank you for joining us. Once you get this slide deck sent out, you can click the earn points for attending here, and you can fill out the form. And then in a few weeks, we'll send out the remainder point codes so that you can get your points for the rest of the year. And those are for Healthier Together reward points. So feel free to share one takeaway you have in the chat, or feel free to ask us a question now. Hopefully you found some helpful tips. So share a takeaway or ask a question. And if you have not done so already, I know many of you probably found this invite from our Yammer community, but please join our Yammer community. We have over 6,000 members in this community, and we'd like to continue to grow it. So add a colleague, invite a friend, tag them in the comments, and let them know that the Healthier Together Yammer community is a great place to learn about resources and to also communicate with other colleagues around the globe. So we have a few key takeaways. Good is good enough. That was one I wrote down for myself. Start small to be consistent. Start small. Awesome. And stress management. Yes, we've got a lot of people that participate in our YouTube workouts. Awesome. Well, thank you all for sharing. And feel free to reach out to anyone on our team. Our full-time job is to support you as Medtronic employees. So it is never a bother for you to reach out. So please send us an email, send us a Teams message. You can find us in the address book, or our information is here, and we'd love to connect with you. Thank you very much. And we hope you have a great rest of your day.